Hello guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK tutorial. Today we are going to move on with our GAction, and today we are going to learn new things which are very useful, and you will see that the next two functions which I'm going to introduce you are very important for your application. Moreover, they are very important for you to understand them. But let's take a short brief. Until now we know what gmenu is, we know what gSimpleAction is, we know what GAction map is, and with GAction we are going to proceed, which means at this point we know all these functions, what they does. The next thing which we need to learn are these two functions, the GAction pairs detail name and print detail name. These two functions are very useful and you will going to need them. Now the GAction print detail name, it is a function which basically formats a detailed action name from action name and target value. It is an error to call this function with an invalid action name, of course, isn't it? This function is the opposite of the GAction pairs detail name. Well, we'll see about it. It will produce a string that can be parsed back to the action name and target value by that function. So see that function for the types of strings that will be printed by this function. Okay, so we are going to check that function a little bit later. We have two parameters, a valid action name and a g-variant target value, or null if there is no target. Okay, that being said, the next thing it is that it returns a detailed format string size 2.38, and of course it returns a g-sharp, which means we need to free it. Now let us work with this function. So I'm going to scroll all the way down until here, and I'm going to say g-char ret. We are going to point it to GAction print detail name. So the first one, it is the action, and the action in this case means application dot and the action, like select, and the target value. Now let us create a target value, g-variant target value, not like that, like this. Now the target value, we are going to point it to g-variant new string, and here we are going to target it to the open item. Now everything looks good. The last thing which we need to print the ret. And of course we need to free the ret and unref the target value. Now because everything looks good, let me check it again. g-char ret target value, and then target value and ret, they get pointed to gstring new open, and then with the help of GAction print detail name, basically we create this information select. Now we are printing in, we are freed ret, and we are unreferencing the target. So nope, not like that. I need to compile it and run it, not run it. Now at this point, as you can see, we have an interesting format here, which is app.select double call and open. Of course, if you remove the app in front of the select, then you will get only the action and its target, but we are going to let it like it was before. Now, because we understand how this function works, because it is very important, now let us check what the other function does, because this one has a little bit long description, but we are going to proceed with all this information now. So the GAction pairs detail name, it is a function which returns a g-boolean, which means we can check its return if it's true or false based on what we are passing. So the g-char detail name, it is its first parameter, the action name, it is the second, target value is the third one, and the fourth one is the error pairs a detailed action name into its separate name and target components. Detailed action names can have three formats. This is very interesting. So the first format, it is used to represent an action name with no target value and consists of just an action name containing the no white space nor the characters double call or point. For example, app action. So let us work with this one. I'm going to copy because it's a Gboolean. I'm not going to test it. The first thing what we need the app dot select. The next thing what we need the action name. So action name, as you already notice, it is expecting a double pointer, which means you need to pass a pointer and its address. You will see. Now the next thing which we need a target value, the same story. I'm going to say target because we already have a target value up here and we are not going to work with the same one. And the last one, it is the error, which we are going to create it as well. Now let us create these three things. So the first thing which we need the action name. So gchar action name. The next thing which we need is the target, gvariant target, and the last one, the g error. Now because we have them all, let me format them a little bit. Now what do we need? Let's see, we are passing them, and now it is very important that you understand. So let me see, let me move a little bit here. I'm going to print now the action name. So g print action, which we are going to print. So better said, I'm going to create a new line character first, nothing special, just this one. And now with the next call of the print f, I'm going to say action %s target, well, not there, Control D, target, and the last thing which we need to name, action name, and of course the target. Now let me format it a little bit. Now at this point everything looks good, so let us free now. I'm going to copy these two things right here because we need to free the action name and the target. Now let me compile it and run it. You will see something very interesting. Yes, of course, because it's g variant get string. Sorry, I need to call the g variant get string because we need to get the string from the target, which we get it. So now you will see something very interesting. Oh no, not again, what the heck. G variant get string target, yes, because it is expecting 2 the length also, so we are passing null. Now let's see. It looks good. Even if we have an error, it still looks good. Why? You will see in a second. As you can see, action returns app.select. You see, which is the thing which we are passing it in the first case. But we have no target, and because we have no target, we get an error. Target says null, and here is the error. GVariant string assertion value is not equal to null, which means we have null. And of course we are trying to unref something which is null. Okay, so basically we do have a problem here. Now why that's happening, you will see in a second. Anyway, target, it is null and it should also be null. Why? Let's see the second case format. It is used to represent an action with target. Okay, that's for us now. Target value that is not empty. That is non-empty string consisting only of alphanumeric plus, minus, and dot. So in that case, the action name and target value are separated by double colon, like right here, and we got an example: action, app action, double colon, and the target. So let us create this one. which means we need double call open. And now when I compile it and run it, you'll see that we have a target, and basically we got the open target. As you can see, with this function, with the help of this function, we can get the target from the action. Now, as you can see, basically the action name and the target are returning something for us. Now the last case, the third format represents an action with any type of target value, including strings and so on. It is a lot of information to read, but the last part right here, it is interesting for you, which means it's another type of format. As you can see at this point, after the action, we have basically parentheses and then the action itself. Now I'm going to work with both, which means I'm going to pass only the target inside the parentheses without the double call, of course. Let me go back a little bit, like this, I think it was, yes. Select open, and you will see the difference between them. At this point, you see we get an error, which means indicates a bug in some code of your. Why is that happening? Well, let us go a little bit. As you can see, remember from the other videos where I was telling you, there are at some point it is important that you take care about every possible character which you have to include. Like in this case, the target is surrounded not just by parentheses but also by those ticks. So you need to pass them, one here and one here. And once that you do that, let me compile it and run it again. And as you can see, now everything looks good. Anyway, these things basically for in this kind of situation are the same, like doing it in the first case. So let me do something more interesting. I'm going to comment this one, and probably you will need to use it like this, which is much more interesting. As you can see, now you have all that information. Now the next thing which is important for you, it is that because you are passing basically this thing, you don't need to type it, because once that you create it with a GAction print detail name and you have the ret right here, you just can copy the ret and you can replace with the first argument of the pass detail. And of course I'm going to move this to right here, and now at this point everything looks good. And now we are basically calling the GAction pass detail name with the ret information from the action print detail name with the action name, target and arrow, which it's much more robust and much more better for you. You see, now everything looks good, and now basically we are doing the same thing what the documentation said here. This function, it is the opposite of the pass detail name, so it will produce a string that can be passed back to the action name and target value by that function. So see that function types for string and so on. So basically it is a good thing, and it is a lot of useful cases where you will or you may think that you need it, but for sure those things are working together fine. So I'm going to stop now because it is everything okay. So let's see, let me scroll down a little bit just that you see the whole code again and again and again. You just need to hit pause if you want to check it better. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.